come out of there. I may as well break it again. But they actually slip out. Hello, and welcome to Slipping Time. In this episode, right back at this 1999 Eclipse GSX, and I'm going to start putting pieces back together in it. I've got stuff all over the place. I don't think I'll get it all done in this episode, but we're going to start reassembling finally and getting it back together. The pieces that are off it right now, just to finish it off, to make it perfect and totally redone from top to bottom, as I explained in some other episodes before this. And if you just joined me, you might want to go back and see what I've done. And this is a continuation. I'm really close to finishing things up, and I'm going to take you along with me. So let's get going. Pretty common in these cars is these vents. I'll just show you here. So these little blades here, they actually come out of there. I may as well break it again. But they actually slip out. So I cleaned all this up, but the reason I really took it out is these little blades here, common problem, is they actually come out of their notches. They come right out. So they sit inside here, but they're pushed back, and this is way back into the vent, this lever right here. And you got to take it apart to fix it. And generally what happens, you can see I've epoxied here a little bit, but that's hidden from the front side. And the reason I did that is it bows in right in here, and there's notches, you can see them right there, that expand out, that because this bows out, they're not catching in there, so then those blades just push right out. And so that's why I epoxied it. You could use plastic glue, probably super glue might work as well. I've just used some really good epoxy on the back side, and now it's as good as new. Now to take it out, a little trick to it, but you got to use like a molding stick like that or something to remove it, and you can pry it on the underside and back side to get this off, get that off, and then you can unclip these guys, and that's exactly like I did. And then we'll just do the reverse to pop it back in, and then that'll fit back in like that, and we're as good as new. So there's a little tip if you need to fix those blades. I think it's a pretty common part. I know it's a pretty common problem in these cars, and probably others as well. And it's a pretty quick fix actually, so go ahead and do it, and you'll be happy you did. Unless of course you've got gauges in here, and if you got gauges in here, you don't really care. But I don't. I have my gauges right here on this car. You can see how these are dirty inside. Pretty common, and a lot of people will detail their car and they'll forget this little bit, but I don't like seeing that. So I'm going to take some simple green and a toothbrush, and we'll clean those up. So there you can see it's all cleaned up like new. And I do the same with the grooves in here. Just took some simple green and a toothbrush. Then I used my little compressed air trick just to get it all out after it's still kind of wet with simple green, and it makes it all clean and gets all the crevices out. So now these seats are officially brand new from after all this work I've done on them. They look great. This sunroof is in really good condition except for one thing. It's got hard water stains baked in it here. And I've tried a few things, some cleaners, some vinegar, and yeah, you can kind of see how it's looking there. And one thing I've picked up is this glass polishing kit, and I'm going to give it a shot, and I'll let you know how this works out. I've even used a razor blade, and I've been able to scour some of it off here, but this is unacceptable for this car that I'm doing, so we've got to get this cleaned up, and I will get it cleaned up. So let me give this a shot, and we're going to see how that goes. So the instructions on this, now that I've taken it apart, is pretty basic. They say make sure that it's clean as much as you can clean it, surface, other than obviously the hard water mineral deposits that are on it that are baked in. It's got a solution here for polishing. It's made to go on a ordinary drill. That's what this is. And then it's got some polishing pads that you add the compound on, and then you work through that, and then you clean it up, and that's supposed to be what it takes. So let me try that. I'm going to move this outside because I don't want to get polishing stuff all over in my shop right now. So let's move this all outside. Alright, here's the final result. Look at the reflection, by the way. But it didn't take long to do this, and it cleaned that up. And I tried CLR, vinegar mix, some other chemicals that were supposed to be for taking the hard water spots out. And I mean, that's the glass you're looking at. It's not a picture up in the sky up there. Yeah, it took that right out. Very impressed. I recommend using this stuff. It doesn't take long, works really well. It's relatively inexpensive to buy, and man, does it work well. And I thought I'd just show you in the same location with the same lighting as before, where you could see how much stuff was on there as far as the mineral deposits and how it was baked in. And it's completely clean now. If you're seeing anything, it's because of reflections or stuff underneath right now, but it's completely clean for that before and after effect in the same lighting. And just so you know, just the sunroof, I hardly used any. Look how full that bottle still is. I just took like hardly anything out of there, and so this will last a lifetime. And again, I can't remember what I paid for this, but it wasn't very much. Highly recommend this for cleaning up your glass. And it didn't get all the grooves out, but it actually polished some of the little fine scratches it had from probably rocks hitting it as well. And I forgot to do some before and after on that. I wasn't expecting that. That's not why I did it, but it definitely made a difference. So very pleased with this product for what it does and how well it works. Don't waste your time using other stuff. Just use this. Okay, that's it for the 1998 white Eclipse GSX that I was just working on for this episode. This car is also a 1998 Eagle Talon. And I've not talked about this car really much in the channel at all. I'm probably not going to talk a lot about it in this episode, but as you know, the 98 Talons are pretty rare. There was only, I think, 4,000 of them actually made, and only a couple thousand of them are all-wheel drive. This is an all-wheel drive manual. And the reason I have this one, it took me a long time to find it, is it actually is the last year they made. I've told you I've got actually the first year they were made, I bought one new in 90. It's this one over here. And this had to have the same options as that one. I just wanted them to kind of color match and everything. So I finally found this one a number of years ago, and I've held on to it. And it's a daily driver. I'm actually getting it ready to go to Denver on a bit of a road trip from where I am, and do some car events there and meet a really good friend, and just cruise around with it. And I'll probably have some stuff from that trip as well in future episodes, so watch that as well. In the meantime, I'm going to get it washed and clay barred, and I'm going to do a ceramic coat on it, so you can watch a little bit about that. So what I've done in this car so far is I washed it, then I clay barred it, and then I polished it. And the next step I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some little touch-ups on where there's a few rock chips here and there, and then I'm going to do the ceramic coat and make it pop even more than it is. One thing I need to do on this car, now that I've polished it a lot more, this has been repainted once in its time, many years ago. And it's actually in pretty good shape overall, but this has kind of been worn or faded or something on here. I'm not sure what's going on, so I'm going to just do the real respray on this door strake here and make it look new. Other than that, the rest of the car is, as you can see, in pretty good shape. So I'm going to get busy on this. Okay, she's done. I'll take this plastic off and we'll have a closer look, but it turned out pretty good. It's gonna maybe stick out a little bit from this other one that I didn't do. We're gonna see. This one actually held its color pretty good. You can see maybe it's a little paler just from maybe some sun fade, but overall, I think it's gonna be fine. And we're gonna do some ceramic coating on this, and it'll probably make it pop anyway, and it'll all be nice when we get this car all done up. It turned out actually really nice. The color matched really well. You can't really tell there's any difference between this one and that one. It's got the fresher paint on it, but after polishing this up and doing ceramic coat, it actually turned out really nice. Yeah, definitely happy with the way that turned out. All right. Okay, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, having both 98 Eclipses and the Talon as well, just to kind of have a little bit of contrast in this show. Lots more to come, obviously, in future episodes in these cars and others. Make sure you subscribe to watch those. And, of course, enjoy every day and always make it right.